been a lot of expeditions in the Atlantic Ocean to find Atlantis, but until now nothing has been found. Hi guys, and welcome to my new video. First of all, I have a cold, so I might make a few weird sounds with my nose. Please forgive me for that. The subject I want to talk about this week is something that has been in a few of my other videos. It is linked to a lot of mysteries and they still don't know if it truly existed. There are a lot of stories and theories about this subject and I will cover some of them in this video. I'm sure that you've heard of this mythical island. It is very popular and a lot of people are still searching for it and are talking about it. And the island I want to talk about is Atlantis. Of course there is a lot of information about Atlantis, so if you really want to know everything you should watch documentaries or maybe other YouTube videos, because I can't cover everything. But most of the stories are based on the story of Plato. Plato was a Greek philosopher and he told about this story in 360 BC. He was a very important figure in ancient Greece and he is still very influential in this modern time. He mentioned Atlantis in two of his works, in Timaeus and Critias. In all Plato's books he tried to explain the government and philosophy through interesting stories. According to Plato, Atlantis was an island in the Atlantic Ocean. The Atlantic Ocean is the second largest ocean in the world. And the name of the ocean means the Ocean of Atlas. Atlas was a titan in Greek mythology. He is known for carrying the universe as a punishment for choosing the wrong side during the War of the Titans and Gods. So the depiction of Atlas holding the earth on his shoulders is wrong and it actually should have been the universe. Since Atlantis was located in the Atlantic Ocean, it was also named after Atlas. According to legend, Atlantis existed 11,000 years ago. The Greek god Poseidon fell in love with a human named Cleito. I hope I say it right. He wanted to show his affection, so he decided to create an island in the Atlantic Ocean. The island emerged from the ocean and was named Atlantis. Eventually, a lot of Cleito's children began to live on the island. They were all half-gods or demigods. The children each took a part of the island. The biggest part of the island was given to their first king, and his name was also Atlantis. Very original. Atlantis was an amazing place to live. Everybody was happy and everything was well arranged. They were very advanced and wealthy. The children of Cleito were of course demigods, and eventually they started to think that they were more important than humans, so they became very arrogant. Eventually Atlantis began to reflect the world we know now. People wanted to gain control and there was corruption and greed. The island was not enough for them. They wanted to control the whole world. The god Zeus, who was the supreme god, was not pleased at all. He wanted to punish them for their behavior. He asked all the gods to think of a solution. And they all agreed on one thing. They should give them a catastrophic punishment. Poseidon had to send a big tsunami their way, and so he did. Within a day and a night, Atlantis submerged into the Atlantic Ocean. It seemed like nothing had ever been there. It was gone and so were all the people. That was the price they had to pay for their greed and arrogance. Many people think that Plato came up with the story because there were no other ancient writers who gave so much detail about Atlantis. They thought he used it as an allegory to show how the Athenians should live. During Plato's life there were a lot of volcanic explosions and also earthquakes, so people think that that inspired him to write a story about Atlantis. There was a Bronze Age civilization called the Minoan, and they have a lot of similarities with Atlantis. It existed around 2600 BC to 1600 BC. They were also very wealthy and advanced, but it's not comparable to Atlantis though. It is said that there was an eruption in a volcano in Santorini and that caused earthquakes and tsunamis, and that led to the end of the Minoan civilization. People in Greece believed that natural disasters were caused by gods, that if you didn't please them, they would punish you for your mistakes. They always tried to honor them and keep them happy. They did not know that natural disasters were caused by nature. Others say that Plato learned of the story through family members and that Solon, an Athenian poet and famous politician, heard the story of Atlantis during his stay in Egypt in 565 BC. And this is also why some people think that Atlanteans escaped to Egypt and that they told this story there. The idea of Atlantis was mostly forgotten until 1882 because a writer named Ignatius Donnelly wrote about Atlantis and said that everything was true. He even claimed that the culture of Atlantis started a lot of other cultures. But more about that later in this video. Many people claim that different locations are the location of Atlantis, and they are not all in the Atlantic Ocean. There have been a lot of expeditions in the Atlantic Ocean to find Atlantis, but until now nothing has been found. They even examined rocks found on the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean. Scientists examined the rocks and they are sure that there was never a small continent or an island in that area. Case closed, right? But still many people believe that Atlantis is somewhere near Portugal or Spain. In my video about Esbedra, I told that the people of Ibiza think that Esbedra is the top of the island of Atlantis. Some people think that it's hidden deep in the ocean and that we are not supposed to find it, and that mermaids live there. Some people even think that the Bermuda Triangle is the place where Atlantis sank. Many of you must have heard of the disappearances in that area. In 2001, a Cuban city was found in the water close to the Bermuda Triangle, and it even had a pyramid. Some people think that that could be Atlantis, and that has also something to do with all the disappearances. Other people believe that Atlantis is buried underneath the ice of Antarctica. Allegedly, a society could have existed on Antarctican prehistory, coming to an end with the last ice age which froze the whole continent. That society could have been Atlantis. Supposed proof was the ancient map called the Piri Reis map, named after the maker of this particular map. This map was made in 1513. It shows the Antarctican coast hundreds of years before it was discovered. But not everybody believes that that point on the map is Antarctica. Some people think it is a cross or another symbol. Scientists are finding more out about Antarctica, and there's more proof that there was a civilization once. Some people think that extraterrestrials have a base there, or that the Nazis went there after they were defeated, but that's another mystery for another time. The Azores is also a very popular location for Atlantis. The Azores is a group of islands that belongs to Portugal. It is located in the Atlantic Ocean just like Atlantis. They discovered a pyramid in the ocean as well. Some people even think that the Azores are part of Atlantis that came up eventually after a long time. There are also many theories about the survival of the Atlantean people. Most people think that they drowned and went down with the island when the disaster happened, just like Plato described, but some people think that they escaped and that they are responsible for some of the wonders in our world. As you heard before, a lot of pyramids are mentioned when I talk about Atlantis, possibly because we still don't know who made them and how they were made. And this also goes for the Mayan step pyramid. Nobody knows how they managed to make them because the stones were so big and heavy. This is why both of the civilizations are linked to Atlantis. It is said that some of the Atlanteans escaped to Egypt and that they shared their knowledge with them. They helped the Egyptians build the pyramids, and they even made a Hall of Records inside the Sphinx. According to legend, the Hall of Records is still hidden underneath the Great Sphinx of Giza. It is a storage house and it contains historic knowledge and complete timelines of prehistory, back to the dawn of time. Others claim that they went to Peru and that they made the Mayan Empire. Mayan and Egyptian civilizations have similarities. They have similar calendars, similar hieroglyphs, and similar pyramids. So some people think that they went both ways and that they spread across the world. Some people think that the people of Atlantis were aliens and that they returned to their home planet. And they came here because they wanted to help us build a better world. I think this one is far-fetched, but I do believe in aliens. Of course, there are many other claims where Atlantis is, what Atlantis is, who lived there, where it is now. And you can believe whatever you want. And if you have a nice, interesting theory, or maybe you've heard something, please let me know in the comments. I'm very curious. I think that the mystery of the pyramids and the Mayan Empire have another explanation, and I really hope that they find out in my lifetime. And maybe one day we'll find Atlantis. I don't think so, but I do hope so, because then we know the truth behind this mystery. This was my video. Thank you so much for watching. If you like it, please give a thumbs up. And if you like it even more, please subscribe to my channel. If you have another idea for another video, please let me know in the comments. For now, I don't know what will be my next video, so I can't give you a hint. I hope you liked it and have a nice day. Bye!